Good morning, students. Today we will discuss paper number 11 and 12. See question number 1 to 5. In the following passage, some of the words have been highlighted in bold. First read the passage, try to understand about it, then replace the highlighted words with correct option in order to make grammatical and contextual sense. In case the highlighted word is correct as it is, the answer is no improvement. That means here we are given with some highlighted words. If it is wrong, we have to replace with the correct word, and if it is correct, your answer is no improvement is required. Let us see the first one. Greece should be filled with hominid bones. Hominid means primate mammals. Primate mammals. Early man. That is the meaning of hominid. So Greece should be filled with hominid bones and stone tools. Its location make it perfect gateway to Europe for the earliest hominids leaving Africa, and even during dry and cold spells that made many other parts of the world uninhabitable. So here we need a adjective to modify the noun parts of the world. Parts of the world is a noun. Parts of the world is a noun. To modify this one, we need a adjective. So here uninhabitable is correct. Why? Because uninhabitable means not hospitable or inhospitable. Inhospitable. That means not suitable for living. So here Greece is the perfect gateway to Europe for earliest hominids, as the remaining parts of the country like Africa and other parts, the other parts of the world is uninhabitable. So they can't live in that place, so they have come to Greece. So parts of the world is a noun. To modify this one, we need an adjective. Here uninhabitable is correct. That is meaning inhospitable. Let us see the other words that are given here. Unusual means uncommon. Unusual means uncommon. Ubiquitous means present everywhere. Ubiquitous means present everywhere. Pervasive means spreading. Pervasive means spreading. Prudent means wise. Prudent means wise. So here we are talking about the place to live. So here uninhabitable is definitely correct. Uninhabitable is definitely correct. Next. Greece remained pleasant from here. Greece remained pleasant, yet the country's archaeological record is bare from 1.8 million to 1,25,000 years ago, a period known as early to middle Pleistocene. And that's why only 2 to 5% of the Greece paleoanthropological record. So here paleoanthropology means study of human evolution. Paleoanthropology means study of human evolution. That means how the humans have evolved. That study is called as paleoanthropology. Record has been survived. That's the concussion. So here concussion is not correct. Conclusion is correct. We should not use concussion. So why? Because concussion means a injury. What is the meaning of concussion? Brain injury. Concussion means brain injury. Here we are giving a conclusion. We need a noun here to be modified by the definite article the. The is a definite article. So we need a noun after that. So we should use conclusion. That the conclusion will correct. Conclusion means deduction. That's the finding. So conclusion is correct. Concussion is wrong. So conclusion is the apt word here. Of the authors of new study in quaternary science reviews. So here the is the definite article. We need a noun here to be modified by the definite article the. So we should use the conclusion. The conclusion. Then confirmation means validation. Confirmation means validation. Then concentration. Concentration means feeling anxiety. Feeling anxiety or worried. Feeling anxiety or worried. Then compliance means agreement. Compliance means agreement. So here we should use the correct word conclusion. Instead of concussion, use conclusion. Concussion means brain injury. That is not apt for this one. Then that's the conclusion of the authors of new study in quaternary science reviews that looks at the geological process that preserve or deploy bones. So here deploy is not correct. Preserve means to store. So for that or is used. After that or. Then next word should be opposite. So preserve or destroy. One is preserve, to store carefully, or to destroy. So we should use two opposite words. So deploy is not correct. We should use destroy. So preserve or destroy. So here we are talking about process, geological process. Processes means plural. Processes is a plural. So then we should use two words. One is preserve or destroy. So preserve is a process is a plural, and to be parallel with the verb use preserve or destroy. Then deny means refuse. Deny means refuse. Defy means disobey. Defy means disobey. Deride, making mock of. Making mock of. So here we should use preserve or destroy. Two opposite words should be used. Processes is a plural, so we should use one preserve and other one destroy, not deploy. Deploy is not correct. Destroy is correct. Bones and artifacts. To be fair, Greece record is not completely empty. Anthropologist. So anthropologist. So what is the meaning of anthropology? Who study the aspects of human. Who study the present and past aspects of human. Anthropology means, so anthropologist means those who study the present and past aspects of human. Those are called as anthropologists. Anthropologists have found some hand axes and few skulls. A Homo heidelbergensis. Heidelbergensis. What is the meaning of Heidelbergensis? This is the extinct species of human. Heidelbergensis is nothing but an extinct species of human. In the cave of Petrolona and two new neanderthals in Epidema. The problem is that these finds are poorly dated. Many of these discoveries have been made on the surface, meaning there is no geological constant or stratigraphy, the depositional layer that built in a sequence over time to aid. So here after two you should use the base form of the verb. So here to aim is not correct. To aid. Aid means to help researchers. So here to help researchers we need a base form of a verb to fit the construction. To plus verb. To plus V1 form should be used. So to aim is not correct. To aid. To help researchers figure out when the fossils and tools were left behind. Here the remaining things. Allude means suggest. Allude means suggest. Then appall means shock. Appall means shock. Astound means shock. Astound means shock. So here aid is correct, not aim. Aim is target. Aim means target. Aid means help. Aid means help. So this is the correct word. Researchers figure out whether the fossils and tools were left behind, and without dates these pieces of evidence are hard to interrupt is not correct. Interrupt means disturb. Interrupt. Interrupt means disturb. That is not correct here. We should use interpret. Interpret. Interpret means understand. Interpret means understand. Then the remaining thing. Intact means entire. Intact means entire. Then escape. All of you know escape. Escape means flee. Escape means flee. Intrude. Intrude means encroach. trespassing, coming without permission, that is intrude. So here the correct word is interpret. Interpret means understand. Don't use interrupt. Interpret is correct. Let us see the next one. Next close test. So the same thing. Here there are some words that are given in bold. If it is any mistake is there, you have to replace with the correct word. The battery electric vehicle revolution has begun as the car buyers and automotive industry powerhouse alike drift their investment is not correct. So we should use shift their investment, not drift. It is a shift. So shift their investment. So we should use the correct word shift. Why? Because we need a plural verb here to agree with the plural subject powerhouses. So powerhouses is a plural subject. We need a plural verb. So shift is correct, not drift. It is a shift. Shifting means move. Shift means move. So drift is not correct. So shift is correct. So shift is correct. The sentence tells us how the car buyers and automotive industry powerhouses move their investment from internal combustion engines to electrification. How they are changing from internal combustion engines to electrification. So we are talking about the change. So don't use drift, we should use shift. Then spurt. Spurt means anger. Then spur. Spur means push. Spur means push. Subvert means destabilize. Subvert means destabilize. So we should use the correct word shift here, not drift. Their investment from gas powered internal combustion engines to electrification. Government are getting in the action too, with the states like California and Massachusetts placing big bets on electrification by funneling money into complacent new infrastructure. So here complacent is not correct. So we should not use complacent. Complacent means satisfy. COMPLACENT. Complacent means satisfy. So here they are funneling money. They are investing money into massive. So here we should use massive infrastructure. So we need an adjective to modify the nouns plants. So here we need a adjective here to modify the noun plants. So here plants is there, noun. So we need a adjective. What type of plants? Massive plants. So massive is definitely correct. Then muster means gather. Muster means gather. Then malevolent means spiteful. Malevolent means spiteful. That causes fire. That causes fire. Then impediment means block. Impediment means block. So we should not use complacent. Complacent means satisfy. That is not correct. So here we need an adjective to modify the noun plants. So what type of plants? Massive plants. Massive is the correct thing. Then the federal government is supporting the electrification movement as well. Recently announcing plans to invest. Recently announcing plans to invest nearly $900 billion in rural electrification projects across 16 states. But how fast the transition? Here we need a noun to be modified by the definite article the. The is a definite article. After the we need a noun. So remember, after definite article the we need a noun. So here transmission is not correct. We should use transition, change. We are talking about the change from gas to electrification. So transition is the correct word, not transmission. Transition occurs and how successful it will be depend on many variables. So the remaining thing, transparency. Transparency means being clear. Transparency means being clear. Imposition. Imposition means encroachment. Imposition means encroachment. Incision means a small cut. Incision means a small cut. So we are talking about the change. So we should not use transmission. It is a transition. And how successful it will depend on many variables and require deep conviction. So deep commitment is correct. Deep conviction is not correct. Deep commitment. Deep conviction is not correct. Deep commitment. We need a deep commitment. That means dedication. Commitment means dedication. So for anything to be success, we need the dedication from government, manufacturers, and of course consumers. Then connection means link. Connection means link. Confirmation means validation. Confirmation, validation. Then conformity. Conformity also the same thing. Here we need a noun here to form the object of the adjective deep. So deep is the adjective. After that it should be followed by noun. So commitment is the correct thing. Then let us see the next one. Over the coming years, mass adoption will be dependent. Mass adoption will be reliant is correct. Mass adoption will be reliant, not depend. So whenever you are using be is followed by third form of the verb. So here we need adjective to modify the noun adoption. Adoption is a noun. To modify that we need adjective. So be followed by third form of the verb. So depend is not correct. We should use reliant. We should use reliant. Reliant means dependent. Reliance means dependent. Dependent is correct. So here the sentence is telling how the mass adoption of electric vehicles will be dependent on two factors. Reminiscent means reminding. Reminiscent means reminding. Reward means price. Reward means price. Deposited means settled. Deposited means settled. Diverted. Diverted means change the direction. Change the direction. So here depend is not correct. Depended is correct or reliant is also correct. So reliant is the apt word. Now let us see the next one. Question number 11 to 15. So here in the question below a sentence is given with 5 words number and highlighted in bold. From the options choose the pair of the words that should interchange in order to make the sentence grammatically and meaningfully complete. First one, by, that means here this is called as dangling. The words will be in the dangling position. We have to arrange in the correct position. That can be 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 or 3 or 4 like that. By driving a large share of work and education online, the COVID-19 pandemic has likely triggered a permanent change in many economic sectors. So here the sentence is conveying that COVID-19 pandemic has shifted the majority of the work and education online, and this has caused a change in many sectors of the economy. Because of COVID-19, the education sector as well as work sector, there is a change in many sectors of economy. So here, which is the correct thing? By driving a large share of work, by driving a large share of work and education online, the COVID-19 pandemic has likely triggered a permanent, triggered means started, a permanent change in many economic sectors. Here there is no need of any changes, so no interchange is required. See the next question. The more disposal children have at their words, the more they can make world of the sense. So here we need to interchange disposal with words. That means in place of disposal, words should come. In place of disposal, words. In place of words, we should get to disposal. The more words children have at their disposal, the more they can make sense of the world is correct. Not world of the sense, sense of the world. That means we have to interchange 1 and 2. Also we have to interchange 4 and 5. So it tells us, the sentence what it is telling, it tells us that more words children know, more words the children know, the better they will understand the world. So if more words children know, the better they will understand the world. So here the correct sentence is, the more words children have, the more words children have at their disposal, the more they can make sense of the world. So that is the correct sentence. So here you need to interchange 1 and 2. Also you need to interchange 4 and 5. In electricity systems, reliability is a ability of the measure of electricity generation infrastructure to meet consumer demand. Here in electricity system, reliability is a ability. Reliability is a measure is correct, not ability. So here reliability is a measure of the ability of electric generation infrastructure to meet the consumer demand. So here we need to interchange ability with measure, also measure with ability. So the correct sentence here, what we are telling, what is the sentence telling about? It tells us the reliability helps us to assess whether the electric power plants can fulfill the requirement of electricity. The sentence is giving the meaning like that. It tells us the reliability that helps to assess whether the electric power plants can meet the future demand. So in electric systems, reliability is a measure of the ability of electric generation infrastructure to meet the consumer demand. So here we need to interchange only 1 and 2. The adversity of restrictions should help discourage private investment in agriculture and help those farmers who have been removal affected by the previous policies that attract private investment. Here the adversely of restriction is not correct. The removal of restrictions. The removal. So in place of removal, we should use adversely. We should use adversely. Then what is the other thing? The removal of restrictions should help attract. Discouraged is not correct. Here we should use attract. Here we should use discouraged. See, the removal of restrictions should help attract private investment in agriculture and help those farmers who have been adversely affected by the previous policies that discouraged private investment. So here we are talking that so many restrictions were previously imposed that discouraged private investment. So we have to remove those restrictions so that private investment will come into agriculture and it will help the farmers. So here we should interchange both 1 and 4, also 2 and 5. The destructive floods are not reckoning to China, which has been new with its powerful rivers for thousands of years. The destructive floods are not new to China, which has been reckoning. That is correct. Which has been reckoning. So reckoning with something means dealing for a long period of time. Deal with something. Reckoning with something means deal with something. So destructive floods are not new to China, which has been reckoning with its powerful rivers for thousands of years. So here we should use destructive floods are not new to China. So China is dealing with the powerful destructive floods for so many long years. That is what the meaning of the sentence. Let us see the next one. So here we should use interchange 2 and 3. In the question given below, 2 sentences are given with 1 blank each. From the given answer choice, choose the option which contains the word that fits in both the sentence, making it grammatically and contextually correct. It was a dash concept for the colonial era. Pine piping every street with pumps placed every 100 yards. I was very interested in seeing that the ambiguity of the dash was replicated in the movie. So here we should use correct word. It was a novel concept. So here we are talking about a concept. So concept is a noun. So concept means idea. What type of idea? New idea. So we should use novel. Novel is correct. We can use new, also we can use novel, but The both the blanks should be filled with one common word. So we are using novel. It was a novel concept for the colonial era, piping under every street with pumps placed every 100 yards. We are talking about a new concept, so you should use novel, or new also can be used, or innovative also can be used. It was I was very interested in seeing that the ambiguity means confusion, of the book, of the novel. Here novel means book, was replicated in the movie. So here we can use book, but both the blanks are filled by one common word, that is novel. Book you can use in the second, you can't use in first. New or innovative you can use in the first, but we can't use in second. But both are filled by which one? Novel. Novel means new and novel means book. So novel is the correct thing. Then in 1798, Joseph Brown, a doctor from Westchester country, dashed to the Common Council that New York find a water source beyond Manhattan. So here we need a verb in the first sentence to agree with the subject Joseph Brown. Joseph Brown is a subject. So to agree with the subject we need a which one? Verb. So here which one is correct? Proposed is correct. Proposed is correct. In 1798, Joseph Brown, a doctor from Westchester County, proposed to the Common Council that New York City found a water source beyond Manhattan. Upon learning that he would be stationed in Farnborough, Archie dashed for marriage and Agatha accepted. So here we are talking about a proposal, marriage proposal. So again we should use the word which one? Proposed. Proposed is the only thing which is correct in both the blanks. So propose is correct. Now if you see the second one, appealed, suggested and recommended. These three words you can use in the first sentence. You can use in the first, but you can't use in the second. So only proposed is correct. Next, he planned to create the water company himself and somehow use its income to establish a bank to dash the Bank of New York. So here we need a base form of the verb to fit the construction to. So after using to, you should use base form of the verb. So rival means provide competition. Rival means provide competition. So if you understand the sentence, he planned to create the water company himself and somehow used its income to establish a bank to rival the Bank of New York. So he want to give the competition to Bank of New York. That's why he want to establish one other bank. So this bank will be competition to other banks. So we should use the word rival. Rival means provide competition. Provide competition. To create his own claim to the throne of Jerusalem, Charles executed one rival. Here rival means enemy. Here rival means enemy. In the second blank, rival means enemy. So Charles executed one rival. Charles executed one rival. Here we need a noun to be modified by the adjective one. So here one is the adjective. After that we should use noun. So rival. Rival is correct. And purchase the rights to the city from another. So here rival is correct thing in both the sentence. If you see the other words, that is challenge. Challenge. Also if you see match, both will come in the first sentence. Both we can use in the first sentence, but we can't use in the second sentence. Whereas oppose and adversary we can use in the second sentence, but we can't use in the first sentence. So rival is the only word which can be used in both the sentences. Curiously, Brown, the company's superintendent, no longer publicly dashed that the pond was filthy. Curiously, Brown, the company's superintendent, no longer publicly contended. Here we need a verb. Here we need a verb to agree with the subject Brown. So Brown is a subject. To agree with that we need a verb. Contended means, what is the meaning of contended? Stating forcefully. Stated forcefully. No longer publicly contended. Another 4 Bulgarian wrestlers contended. Contended means competed. Here being in the competition, contested. In the second blank, the meaning of the word contended means contested. Another 4 Bulgarian wrestlers contested or contended for the bronze medal, but all lost and were slotted into 4th place. So here, if you see the other words, asserted and argued. Asserted and argued will come in the first sentence, but it will not come in the second sentence. Whereas the other thing, competed and the other one, that is weighed, both will come in the second, but it will not come in the first. So we should use the correct thing, that is which one? Contended. Contended is correct. Then through the 1820, the city continued its struggle to find a portable water source. We are talking about water source. The first sentence, the sentence tells us that the city was looking for a clean water body to obtain the water. So we have to obtain the water from something. So that is called as nothing but source. Here source is correct. Then the second sentence tells us leaves of the drumstick plants and the core stump of banana plant, which are available locally, are rich source of nutrients and fibers. The second sentence tells from what is the good way to obtain the nutrients and fibers. What is the good way? From where we can get the good nutrients and fibers? So those are available from drumstick plant and banana plant. So they are the rich source. Here also source is correct. Source is correct. We can use resource, we can use reservoir, and we can use supply. Everything is related to water. For water we can use resource, we can use supply, we can use reservoir, but we can't use these 3 in the second sentence. Origin we can use in the second sentence, we can't use in the other sentence. So only this one, source, is correct in all the sentences. Source is the correct thing. So with this we completed paper number 11 and 12. So let us discuss the next paper in the next 2 papers in the next class.